So in the last video, I spoke about the do's and the don'ts, but however, I left out the don'ts as well. I mentioned the do's. So have a look on this video in the descriptions about the do's, and if you're watching the don'ts, then yeah, this is the continuation from the do's. So let's just jump into it. I'll see you shortly.
Ladies and gentlemen, Matthew LV.
So welcome back. Like, share and subscribe. So this video, as I titled in the last video about the do's, this is about you only get one chance to get it right. Yeah. So these are the do's and don'ts of getting it right. And this is the don'ts. So this is going to be probably a bit more heavier, but again, description below. And comment on the do's, what you felt about the do's. Have you tried it? Has it worked for you? I mean, what has come up? It's important to me to know, and if anything else you want to ask me about, drop me a message in the comments. I'll try to read every comment you say and try to comment on every comment you make. That makes sense. So let's just get into this. So let me start with the first one. And I mean, again, I've got my notes here. Don't talk too much. Don't talk about exes. Don't talk about exes. Let me just say exactly what I wrote. Don't talk about exes too much. Past relationships, signals, So don't talk about exes and past negative relationships. Do not go there. Avoid the ex files if you can, unless they bring it up. And if they do, don't dwell on it. You know, there's a time and a place for that. Yeah, because for example, you hear me say about this all the time. Dating, going on your first date is like going on a job interview. Your first job interview, you won't bitch about your last job, right? Because you want to get this job. So if you're in a relationship, you shouldn't be bitching about your exes. You should be talking with your new potential partner, who won't be your future ex, about the positives. No matter how much your ex annoyed you, stay focused, stay in the moment, and talk about positive things. Talk about positive things where you were and where you are now, right? Because that is the key thing. That's what they want to know about. They want to know about you. So don't talk about the negative. Don't talk about past exes, especially ones that annoyed you. So don't force intimacy and commitment, right? They will flow naturally. Now, and don't even talk about it, right? You can reference it. Let me rephrase that. You can reference it, not intimacy. You can talk about commitment and say about don't, you know what, they're talking about commitment and they're talking about commitment. They're talking about commitment like hearted, for example. How do you know for example, you're talking to this person and you can say, how do you know that you are committed to somebody? When do you know as an individual that you know you're committed to this person, right? And leave it at that. See what they respond with, male or female. Don't say to them, do you think after sex that you'd be committed, right? Do you have a point if you want to bring in that subject of intimacy? You can say to them, look, when do you feel, you can even say, when was a negative time when someone's made you feel like you had to be intimate? And from that, I know it sounds negative, but it's a positive, because he or she would go, they were going on and on and on and on about it, and I've just slept with them, just shut them up, or done whatever. But I know, and just go, and then you can respond and go, that must have been a tough time for you. And that way you can then realize that whoever she was with at the time, or he was with at the time, that you don't walk down that same path. Yeah, you don't force it. If you want to ask and you want to know about intimacy, and just say, what is your levels of intimacy on the first couple of months? End of. It's a question you need to know. She may or he may not be comfortable with holding hands, showing affection in public. That happens. And if you are someone that shows affection in public, and I don't mean have sex in public, I mean show affection in public, and you want someone similar, then find someone. Or you can say to them, yeah, I like to be showing intimacy, is in be open and like holding hands, kissing and hugging in public. Like you can be in a park and be hugging, right? There's nothing wrong with that. You can be kissing in public, you know. I don't mean that, you know, eating each other out, but it's like being close to each other. So it is in that essence that you can even joke about it, because I've been talking to people and getting to know people, and that's come up and we've joked about it, you know, and especially when the summer's on and people drinking and so on, but you can kind of gauge where they're at with the situation. But again, be open and be don't make them force and stay on the subject. Just try and get the information from them and then just have a conversation about it. Don't dominate the conversation, right? No matter how much you want to dominate the conversation, and I know sometimes I do it when I'm nervous, or when you're nervous, you like to keep talking because you don't want those awkward silence. But chill out, right? Just say what you need to say, step back and let them respond. This is where it goes back to having the open questions and asking them, and then having a conversation around that. And then even you can tell when you are talking too much, it will be on their face. They will see it, or they will look away, or they will give you a look. They will tell you. But try to keep it as short as possible. Same thing in the interview. I go back to this job interview thing. In the interview, you don't bang on going on forever because it looks like a negative thing. Excuse me, like you don't know what you're talking about. So be short and concise, but open. Yeah, be open and concise, and to the point to that matter. Next point I want to talk about is don't put on an act. Don't be something that you're not. Yeah, if you're shy. If you're shy and you're nervous, then say that, you know, say that lot, you know, I'm nervous to meet you, but I'm really enjoying this conversation. The other thing I want to say within that conversation, within that subject, is that it's okay to go, you know what, I'm enjoying really talking to you. They being with you in your energy, you know, they will like that because they want validation that you're not bored or you're just foreseeing a night out because you have to be there because you think you're just a nice person, but you really don't want to be there. You know, you can turn around and be open, but don't put on an act. Don't be something that you're not. Don't try and be Jack the Lad, right, babe, what you saying, right, and all that lot. Just be you. Yeah, or don't start talking about money. Oh, I got all this amount of money, even though you're well off, right? Never talk about money. Never talk about things like that because you don't want to get a gold digger. You want to find a person at who they are. But I'm going to do a video about gold diggers soon as well, so look out for that. So yeah, just be yourself. Don't get negative or critical, yeah, about things. Again, as I said, I don't talk about exes, don't talk about politics, don't talk about religion. If you're both religious, then yeah, you can talk about it. If you're both in politics, again, you can talk about it, makes sense. But try to refrain right at the beginning from talking about something really heavy that is really important to you, you know, the heavy stuff. You know, if you don't believe in spirit, you don't believe in God or anything like that, don't go outside of crap, you know. Because to that person, it means a lot. And they actually may like you, but you say that you're out the window. Sometimes if you may not have a belief in something, talking to somebody else on their level and just listening to them may be able to sway you or make you have an open view on it. I met someone, I'm really into my faith and, you know, the New Age movement and the rest of it. And I met someone who wasn't. And through talking about my life and what I've got up to and the people I move with and the things I've done and working with and events and, you know, the things I do, they're really fascinated about how that they felt there was something missing from their life. So anyway, they kind of hanged out with me, and then we kind of moved in the same circles, and they realized that that was the thing that was missing from their life, but they just didn't know what it was. But with that, it helped a lot to cement us together. We dated for quite a while, so yeah, don't just shut them down. But you know, don't be critical. Be open. Don't talk about negative things. Just go with the flow. So this is a key one: the phone. My thing is, don't have it out. Yeah, because you're going to get distracted. Going back to the interview again, you don't go to an interview and have your phone on the table, do you? Same thing. Even more so when you're meeting somebody, you're meeting them to talk to them, not to leave on the side wondering how the football's getting on, or wondering how your mate's getting on his date or her date, or anything like that. If it's important, you need to have your phone on, or around you. Then say to them, look, I don't know, you got kids or whatever the situation, but you need to make sure that everything's okay. But don't have it like face up, have it face down, and then just say to them, do you mind if I just check my phone? But don't check every 20 minutes. I was on a date one time, and again, they were having a good time, but they were mindful. They were talking and they had their phone in their hand and they were constantly talking. My eye was drawn to the phone, and they were going blah blah blah, especially when they had it face on towards me, and I will be like, you just want to know what's on the screen. It's just human nature. So, and then I was like, you know what, can you actually put your phone down? And they're like, oh, so is it annoying you? And I'm like, no, it's not annoying me. It's self-explanatory, And then so it got to a point where they were like, they couldn't understand why I was so annoyed by it, and it's kind of rude. So then I decided to have a fork, and I done the same thing with my fork, and they all got annoyed about the fork. It goes, well, there's no difference. I'm using my fork, you're using your phone. But having a reflection, just where body language comes in, with the thing. But I know that was really petty, but I wanted to make a point. But I just simply said, look, do you mind? After that, I said, look, this ain't happening. You're clearly worried about Facebook than most of what's going on here. And the other thing was, she was like, can we take a selfie so I can put on Facebook? No. No. Why would I want to be even dating and you want to put up a picture of us? And anyway, so that didn't happen. Second, the other point I'm going to talk about is don't over-analyze everything and don't overthink anything. This is an important one, because if you're looking for someone that you want to be with, it's easy for us or anybody to try and find the evidence in the questions that the person is, or the answers the person is giving back to us. And because what you're doing when you're overthinking and you're analyzing, you're missing out who they really are, and you're trying to fit it into the box of who you're and what you're looking for. If you just be present with them, and they will trigger you if they're positive or negative, and if they're the one, you would know, right? And if they're not, let it go and then the right one will come along. But don't overthink it and try to analyze everything they say in order to make sure it fits in your little portfolio of questions and answers to find out if they're your twin flame or soulmate. So just chill out a bit. Now, this one's self-explanatory really, and I shouldn't really have to talk about this, but I will. Be mindful of your manners, right? Be mindful of your manners. You'd be surprised the amount of people don't, right? You'd be surprised. And I know some horror stories. I'm going to tell you some horror stories, not just about me, but about other friends, family members who have told me stuff that I'm like, really? A couple of years ago, let me just say one. Let's call this guy John. John went on a date. So I just come back from an event, so I'm a bit tired. John went on a date with, let's say, call her Janet. Went on a date with Janet, yeah. And then Janet rocked up and was effing and blinding like there's no tomorrow. Yeah, that's one. Second point was that John would open the door for Janet. Janet would just walk through and not say thank you. So that really annoyed John. Right. So by the time, you're not even sat down to dinner yet, yeah? they never sat down to dinner yet, and they've got to the restaurant, and she said, "Oh, let me just explain." They said, "Oh, effing blah 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 buses were effing this," and so I had to get the effing train, right? And it was like, all right, you didn't have to swear, kind of thing, because John again is a Christian and doesn't believe you have to use profanity in order to get your point across. Anyway, even though he said that to her before they met. So, and she apparently she was Christian. It just made that point. That's why he met her. Right. So let me move on with this story. So, but they go to the restaurant. They're sitting down having dinner. She gets the menu, and he's reading what he wants to go. And so he says, "Well, oh, would you like to order? Do you want to order first?" And then she goes, "What is this, the 1980s, or is this like prehistoric times? You can order what you want." And it was like he'd been polite. He goes, she was really irritating him. So he was like, "No, what? I let it go. Maybe she's just nervous. Maybe it was just one of them things." Cut long story short, by the time they got to the food, she goes, "God, that was a load of crap, and I ain't paying for that." And so he was annoyed, right, because he arranged for them to go to this really, really nice Michelin star restaurant. Yeah, sometimes the food is not always brilliant, but it's Michelin star. More than likely, it will be brilliant. She probably just, I would say, not uncultured, but I'm not knocking it. But maybe she's just not used to that type of food. The other point she did turn around and say, I find this really funny because I've said this before as well, and I kind of now understand it. Then. This is years, it must have been years ago. I mean, 25 years ago. The food come and it was only like a chicken and a couple of potatoes and something else, she said. And I was meant to be a full English, right? She was annoyed. She wasn't happy. She kind of said, "What the hell is it?" So she just laughed. And John's sitting there going, "What?" It isn't Witherspoons, right? It isn't the greasy spoon up the road. So he said, "I might as well have taken her there," because that's what she was like. Anyway, obviously they never saw each other after that. So yeah, that is just a rough example of the worst case scenario, yeah, as opposed to the good case scenario. So be mindful of your manners. The P's and Q's, be nice and polite, and please and thank you helps as well. So yeah, be mindful of that. Right, my final point I want to talk about, before I go on my last point, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and it's always good to do videos for you guys to kind of understand what this whole dating game's about. Again, if you've got comments, whack them in the comments below, and remember to watch the do's one, because that is equal to the don'ts, what we're doing now. So, my last point is this. Don't pretend that you know and understand everything they talk about, right? Let me just make sure that was right. Yeah, don't pretend you know everything and you understand everything they talk about. If you don't know, just ask. Yeah, I know so many people, even with me, not so much me doing it, I'm talking about a certain subject, and I can see that they don't understand the hell what I'm talking about, and they're just going, "Oh, well, that's good, yeah," and so on. I call it out. That's just me. I call it out and go, "Do you know what I'm talking about?" And they're like, "No." And or someone go, "Yeah." And I'm like, I say, well, I goes, "I'm not being funny, but I'd rather you be in conversation with me about something you care about." So she says, "Oh, no, I didn't understand. Could you explain what bit you was talking about?" So I explained it in layman terms. And even though this person was spiritual, they didn't understand it the way I knew it, which is more or less the old school way. They knew about a new modern way, like if it was holistic or well-being and stuff. We know about it as the old way, hardcore, through ritual and stuff. Can't remember what it was, but it was that kind of diverse thing. But it's okay to turn around and be open and say, "I don't know what you're talking about," or not fruit like that, but be kind of open about your subject, what you're speaking about, because what they're speaking about, because they want to you to understand them, and if you're not understanding them, how can they understand you? Does that make sense? So anyway, I'm done. There's your do's and don'ts at the beginning of a relationship. Remember what Hitch said. You only get one chance to make a one good impression, or you could be that guy or that girl that you just met one time and they just disappeared into the ether. I'll see you in my next round, and you know what? Remember this. God bless you. Look after yourself. Remember, we got your back, so you stay there, and I'll see you back on the next one. Stay blessed. Stay safe.